Hello, YouTubers. Bud Light here, bringing you a little bit of light into the world of darkness. A little bit of inside humor there. But hey, today's video is going to be a little bit different. Instead of side hustles, I'm going to be talking about a to-go bag. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because just take a look around you of what's going on in the world right now. It's a little bit chaotic. And this is something I think is very, very important. This is actually one of my side hustles that I do. I teach people how to build go bags, how to do backpacking, how to do survival skills, living off of nothing out in the woods. So that's one of the things that I've been trained and I teach other people how to do. Also self-defense, and then also at our MMA gym, we have what we call an old guys class that we participate in there. So trying to make yourself well-rounded, being able to physically be able to take care of yourself, and also to be able to help others. But let's get back to the go bag. This is my personal go bag. I call it a 72-hour bag. That means that I can survive out in the middle of anywhere in any kind of condition in case we have an EMP or civil unrest or something that I'm stranded. And it's 72 hours of provision for me to be able to get to a safe spot and or to be able to get back home, which is usually within that 75-mile radius of my home. I feel comfortable being able to go cross country through the woods, through the valleys, where to grandmother's house we go, but to be able to make it back just on this provision alone in a 72-hour pack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this down. This is my own personal one. Each member of my family has one of these in their vehicle where we stay prepared, not scared. Hopefully we never have to use them. But what if you run out of gas and you're not in something along those lines? Or we have an EMP. God forbid that never happens. Or probably more would be civil unrest. And somehow your vehicle is stranded or you're stranded somewhere. So we're going to go through the steps of how to do a go bag, how to be the gray man, and go forward from there. So I'm going to unpack this bag, and we'll speed this up so you can see it unpacked, and then we're going to talk about each individual item as it goes back in. So here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you saw all of that came out of that backpack. I got a lot in there. Now, one thing that you want to look at first is anything you put in this backpack, you want to try to keep 20 pounds or lighter. The lighter, the better. Remember, you're going to be humping this through the woods, over fences, whatever it may be, down the road, however it may be. So that is the first rule. You got to keep it light as possible, but I wanted to make sure I got everything in there that I needed. Mine is at exactly 20 pounds is what that weighs. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what backpack. So we're going to talk about a little psychology here. So you see here two different backpacks, all right? You saw the one that I unpacked, and then you saw this one, or you see this one. Now, between these two, just taking a look at them, which one do you think just screams tactical, military? Maybe somebody knows what they're doing. One or two? Well, probably obviously this one that looks tactical. Do I want this one? No, I do not. Why? Why do I not want to use the one that looks tactical? Because there's a terminology out there called the gray man. And being able to be a gray man, you want to blend in with your surroundings. This is just a computer bag. It's just a computer bag. Or a backpack that a college student may use works great. So that is why I chose this. Here's the psychology behind it. So let's say I'm in the city and I break down and everybody else is going crazy and there's civil unrest. Well, if they see me walking around with a tactical bag, they're probably going to be thinking psychologically, hey, that guy kind of looks like he knows what he's doing. And he probably has some provisions that we want to get. And if I'm in military fatigues or if I'm dressed tactically, then it kind of paints a target on your back. Whereas if I look like I'm just, of course, I know I don't look like a college student anymore, but if I look like just a regular Joe Schmo with just a hoodie on, a sweatshirt, or some old jeans and boots, and I just got a backpack on here slung over my shoulder like that, like you see anybody else walking down through the campus or down the streets or around the parks, I'm less likely to be targeted. So the whole idea of the gray man is I blend in. I don't have anything that's flashy. I don't have anything that's going to stand out to make me a target. So that's rule number one or two. Make sure on the weight, and then want to have the gray man scenario and pick a suitable backpack or computer case, book bag, whatever it may be. Now, whenever you're making these for your children, we'll go through all this stuff to talk about these, and you can decide for your own kids and everything. I'd say, a nice, little Hello Kitty for your 8 or 9-year-old would be just fine. So, but of course the pink will make you stand out. So I have just a dull black bag that I can blend into the shadows if I need to be. All right, so that covers the backpack. The first thing I'm going to talk about as I pulled them out is I have a first aid kit. This is paramount that you get some type of first aid kit. This one goes on the outside of my backpack that I can carry. And I was going to see if the name was on here, but it's not. So, first aid kit, definitely what you want. You want to have some water. A couple bottles of water would be suffice just to get you started. I have an emergency sleeping bag. Now, all of this, let me back up. All of this stuff I got here, I can get at Amazon, I can get at Lowe's, a hardware store, Ace, or a lot of it can come from Walmart. And you can get quite a bit of it at the Dollar Tree store. So you do not have to spend a whole lot of money. Besides the backpack, everything I have here was less than $150. Okay? And you don't even have to spend that much. I got top of the line type of stuff because I want to be prepared for that. Now the backpacks, they can range anywhere from, I don't know, $20 to $100. It depends on what type of backpack you get. But what goes in it, you can probably do it all for less than $150, even less than $100 if you're real frugal about it. Okay, so emergency sleeping bag. This is if you're, it's self-explanatory. It's emergency sleeping bag. If you're caught out in the weather, this is just something you can wrap up in. You can stay warm. It kind of goes along with an emergency blanket. So they kind of go hand in hand. Is that all I have for a sleeping bag? Pretty much. I do have a bivy, and this is a bivy light, and everything is compact. So I do not need a whole lot to stay warm. Even if it was 20 degrees outside, this is all I need because I know how to survive and build shelter and prepare a campfire. And we'll talk about a little bit of that later. But so this is my sleeping stuff and or emergency to get warm real quick. I have emergency blanket. I have emergency sleeping bag, emergency blanket, and a small bivy bag. Now the other thing you want to do is you want to have a poncho in case it's raining. And then I also have frog togs, which is a rain suit. Very lightweight. Everything is lightweight. I have a hat that I cover, that I have packed. One for the summer, one for the winter. And I have a merino wool stocking cap for the winter. You always heard farmers and ranchers say, including myself, if you can't fix it with duct tape, then baling wire can't be fixed. So I put a roll of duct tape or Gorilla Tape in my bag because I can use it to basically build any kind of camp structure that I want and need it. And or if I get a tear in one of my rain suits or poncho, I can cover it up with that. You always want a good pair of leather gloves. Why? Because if you're going through the country, you got to go through briars and brambles or through the woods and or barbed wire fences. Where I live, there's barbed wire fences everywhere. So you got to be able to climb over those. And you need a good pair of leather gloves or you're going to get cut up pretty good. The other thing we have is that I put into the side of Ziploc, I have one pair of underwear, 2 shirts, a long sleeve shirt and a short sleeve shirt, a handkerchief, and a pair of wool socks and a pair of cotton socks. I got it all squeezed into this bag right here. You roll them up real tight, and that's all I need because I'll be wearing a pair of clothes already whenever I'm going. I have my fire starting kit. I have Vaseline over cotton balls. I have a cigarette lighter. I have matches in here. I have other fire starters that I put all in here. This is all I need to, actually I could probably do about 30 or 40 fires off of this right here. So that is very paramount that you have a way to start a fire. Paracord. Paracord is essential nowadays. This will be to make a tent, to make any kind of shelter, any kind of repairs you need. Put a paracord in here. I have about 100 feet of paracord right here wrapped up. Trash bags. A big garbage bag. Every backpacker YouTube channel you see out there and experienced backpackers always say this is the best thing and number one thing that you always want to have. Why? Because what if it's raining? You can put your backpack in it, and this can also make as a makeshift poncho. If you're in a desert area, you can put this down on the ground, get condensation, and be able to get drinking water and out in the desert. It all kind of depends on what area that you're in, but a garbage bag is always good to have. To-go bag.